It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show. It's time to look at Western Eyre Netball, and Rehanna Freeman joins us. G'day, Rehanna. How you doing today?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Doing okay. Before we get into everything, how was the field days? Can you give us a bit of a report?
Look, Monday when I went there to set up, the sun was shining, superb weather. Tuesday, much the same, and then the wind and rain came. So it was a bit windy and raining Wednesday and Thursday, but still overall a fantastic 3 days. And I think everyone that went, if they didn't get blown away, had a great time.
Well, that's good to hear. And the crowds are good as well?
Yeah, last day
Excellent.
was a bit quiet, I think, because of the weather, but the first 2 days everyone was really happy with, so it was all round a good week.
And everyone's feeling very positive towards the future because from my experience, if it's the weather's a bit yucky over the field days, it's signs of a good season ahead.
Yes, well, being a farmer myself, I wasn't really worried that everyone was getting rained on. I was quite happy sitting inside in a tent, and all it did was push everyone inside, so it worked out well for me.
Brilliant, brilliant. All right, well, let's get down to it. Looking at last week's games, and so there's only a couple of rounds left before we get into the finals. But last week, Thevy and the Ceduna Blues, and Thevy got up by 2.
Yeah, so these guys have had a really tight tussle all year. Thevy by 1, a draw, and then in the last game, Thevy by 2. I do believe that Thevy were up by 4 at the end of the first quarter, and then down by 1 at half-time and three-quarter time, and then ended up having a win by 2 goals. Of course, Thevy is still without Corinne Cummings at the moment. She hurt her knee a few weeks ago. I do believe she's getting scans, but fingers crossed. I think they are hoping that it's only something minor and she'll be back for finals. So obviously wishing Corinne the best of luck and hoping to see her back on the court. Blues in good form along with Thevy. These guys have a lot of history going back years, a tight tussle. Taylor Collins, I heard, was really good in goal attack and then moved to goal shooter. And I think Blues would have been happy to have Georgia Lambeth back on the court. But well done to Thevy. That secured their top spot at the moment, so they'll be really happy with that win with only a couple of games left to go.
Absolutely. And in the other game, your West Coast Hawks, far too good for the Western United Tigers.
Yeah, look, I'm obviously very biased with this game. I coach these girls at the Hawks. They came out firing. It was a really good game. First quarter time was 13-6, so not a huge margin, only 7. And then at half-time, Hawks were up by 13. They sort of put their foot down and had a really good game. Our defenders, Alana Beard and Tegan Joyce, were making it really hard for Westie's goalies, Durrani and Asher. So it wasn't really giving them much. And then in the third quarter, it absolutely poured down with rain. The girls were absolutely drenched. I don't imagine it would have been great conditions to be playing out there, but it certainly didn't affect the score. Hawks were up by 25 at three-quarter time and then a solid win by 37 at the end of the game. So Hawks really happy with that. West is just missing a couple of key players and just a few gaps, and it just really wasn't their day, unfortunately, but Hawks happy with the result.
Absolutely, as I can hear the smile coming down the phone line.
Yes, well, it's hard to hide that one.
Yeah. Well, before we get into some this week's games, are there any other things going on with other grades? Because we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, and there must be some other grades where things are very tight.
Yeah, there is. So if we look at our juniors, Westies are sitting pretty and on top in both Junior A, Junior B and Junior C, and quite convincingly across 3 grades. In the Junior C, the top 4's set. Nothing can really happen there. Junior B is actually really interesting. We've got, as I said, Westie's out on top on 26 points. Thevy are close, not very close behind them, 10 points the difference on 16 in second. But in third, fourth and fifth position is Hawks, Blues and Knibba all on 12. So with only 2 games left, they are fighting really hard for that third and fourth position to make finals. In the Junior A, you've got Westies, Wirral and Hawks all convincingly in the top 3 positions, but fourth position is still up for grabs with Blues on 7, Thevy on 5 and Knibba on 4. It's much the same in the D grade. Westies are out in front quite convincingly on 18, but Hawks and Blues both fighting for that second position, both sitting on 10, Thevy on 8 and Wirral on 6, so that one can still have quite a bit of movement. The C grade's more or less set. The B grade is more or less set, and A grade, although a bit of positions can swap. You've got Sevi top and Hawks second. That could swap. Hawks could go to top and Sevi could go to second, being that Sevi don't have a game this week, but Hawks would have to have a dream run.
Yeah.
And Wirrala and Blues are third and fourth, and nothing can really change there. So first and second positions and third and fourth are more or less locked in the A grade. So finals are set. So that gives them open slather for the next two games to nut out any problems they have and try and get things right coming into finals.
Yes, and then we've only got 2 rounds, so you've got to start thinking about it and get things right with those 2 rounds to go. All right, getting into this weekend's games, round 14, and Wirrala are hosting your West Coast Hawks. Are you feeling confident?
Never feeling confident going into a game against Wirrala. We've got a lot of history, and it's always been a tight match regardless of the season and where anyone is on at the ladder. Hawks have had a really good run against Wirrala. Both times I've played them, I've beaten them by 17. It's got to be said that Emma's now back in their side. We haven't played them with Emma, and also the last time we played them, they also didn't have Cindy Best. So I do believe this week is the first time both teams are going to line up with full teams, so this will be a really good hit out. I'm actually really excited to see Emma back on the court. She's a fabulous netballer, and I do enjoy watching her. I believe her and Sophie will line up in goals together. And then they'll come up against our defence line, which is Tegan Joyce, Alana Beard and Hannah Chanel. So I think that'll be key in this game. And also running through the centre, Jasmine Billing and McKenna Reedy, I think that'll be a beautiful matchup. Really looking forward to this game. I like playing Wirrala. They're a quality side, and obviously hoping for a win for the Hawks. But it could go either way.
It'll be very, very tight, and I think you're going to be very, very nervous. And I have a feeling that whoever's in front at three-quarter time will be struggling in that last quarter to maintain that. So I'm just...
Yeah, there's a lot of mind play that goes on between Hawks and Wirrala, so I think you could be on the money there. All
right, and into the next game, the Tigers, they're hosting the Blues, and it's the final game for the Blues because they've got the bye next week.
That's right. So if they've got anything they want to try out, this would most definitely be the week to do it. They have got a convincing win over Westies both times I've played them by 18 and then 16. Their lineup is a little bit different compared to last time they played, with Hayley Clayton no longer in the side due to pregnancy. So they are looking a little bit different, but I think Taylor as a season, Collins in goals has settled in really nicely. Casey Grenfell has sort of gone from goals to defence, and I think every time we play them she's getting better and better in defence and settling in nicely. You'll have a really good matchup with Casey Grenfell and Durrani Hoffrichter, both about the same height and play a bit of a similar game. Danielle Warmington and wing attack will come up against Amy Norsworthy. I think that'll be another great matchup. I would expect Blues to be too strong, and I think they would want to win here, and they would want to win convincingly to give them some confidence going into finals.
Yes, and just sort of iron out anything, get things going, make a statement, especially in this final game for them, so they're ready for that first week of the finals.
Absolutely, but we know what it's like in the game of netball. Yeah. Anything can happen, and most definitely I would never be going into any of these games underestimating the teams we're coming up against. Westies have got nothing to lose.
Absolutely right. And for all the girls, just be rugged up and ready because there's still some weather around for tomorrow, looking at the weather forecast as I am at the moment. So, just make sure that you're nice and warm and keep yourself, just watch the weather. Watch the weather.
Stay safe on the roads, leave plenty of time to get to where you're going, and enjoy what I am sure will be another fantastic round of netball in Western Eyre.
It really will be. Anything else, Rehanna, before we go?
No, just best of luck to all teams. Only 2 weeks to go. I think it's a really exciting time. Some really close matches between a lot of grades, and I do love good quality netball, and that's exactly what it's shaping up to be.
Absolutely. And your game tomorrow, just remember to breathe, okay?
I have Danielle Evans sits next to me and reminds me of that quite often.
All right. Good luck with tomorrow. Good luck to everyone playing netball, and Rehanna, we'll catch up with you next week.
No worries. Thanks for having me.